Hi, this is Jim Lowenstern. We are back with the next episode of the eXponential Files. I have a great guest, as always. It's Laurie Allen-Macaluso from Park City, Utah, also an EXP agent, also with the Castles Unlimited team. I'm happy to introduce you to Laurie. Laurie, hi.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening,
Wherever you are, right. So
wherever
let's
you
get
are.
right into it. Park City, Utah, great place to live, great place to ski, obviously, great place to do other things too, as well.
Yeah.
Tell us everything about Park City and why it's a great place to live.
Well, it's one of the greatest ski destination resort towns in the country, actually. Park City is super special. We are a very small town. We're a small community. The community is fantastic. The real estate is even better. Um, we have amazing weather today. I'm looking out and there is not a cloud in the sky. It's probably going to be about 75 degrees today. Uh, we go from our ski bibs to our shorts and tank tops. People are walking up and down Main Street today, just enjoying the shops and the restaurants and the galleries. It's always a beautiful day here.
Okay, so what's there to do in the summer? Obviously, in the winter, there's skiing.
Yes. We drink lots of wine here. We have wine festivals, we have gallery openings, we have celebrities that do gallery specials and things like that. Like Kristen Heigl just had her art showing here in downtown Park City on Main Street. Um, this Friday, actually, day after tomorrow, is the Kimball Arts Festival, which goes on all weekend on Main Street in Park City. I'm actually going to that. It's super fun. Park City is a walkable town. Main Street and Park Avenue. You park at the bottom, you walk up one side and you walk down the other side. You hit the bars, the restaurants, the galleries. You make new friends, you grab an ice cream, pretty much whatever you want. It's always a beautiful day here.
Does Robert Redford still have a restaurant there?
Not that I'm aware of. However, I have seen him up in Sundance when we go up to that resort up there. So he's super nice, super nice. Yeah.
Want to talk about the skiing? I know that Park City at one point, I guess it was owned or is owned by Vail now, and then they bought the
Mm.
canyons and combined it. Now there's something going on with Deer Valley expanding. Let's talk about the skiing.
Right. So the skiing is phenomenal here. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to admit something that I hate to admit. I am not a skier. There I know. I know.
It's pretty sad
I know it
that
is.
you
But
live
the
there
thing
and you
is,
don't ski
but there's a really good reason though. There's a really,
because
really
you're
good
selling
reason.
real
So
estate
when
and
my
there's no
husband and I
time.
moved, exactly, when my husband and I decided to move to Park City like 5 years ago, our deal was this. He wanted to retire and become a ski bum. Great, I'm all for it. But honey, I can't show houses with broken legs. So our deal was he retires and he skis. I sell luxury real estate. And you know what? It was the best deal we ever made. So the skiing's phenomenal. Park City Mountain, Canyons Village, you can actually ski over from one to the other. Deer Valley is also phenomenal. Deer Valley actually doesn't allow snowboarders, so we always want to warn people about that. And what's super exciting is that on the other side of Deer Valley, on the Heber side of the mountain, by the Jordanelle Reservoir, they are currently building, the first hotel is done already. They're building the Mayflower Ski Resort, which when it opens is going to become the nation's largest ski resort because they are going to join with Deer Valley. They're going to share a lift, which goes from one to the other. It's going to be a phenomenal project.
So is that
It's a
separate ownership?
military.
Mayflower, is that separate
Yes, yeah.
ownership?
So they're selling. Mayflower is going to be, well, it will be run by Deer Valley, which is great. Um, but yes, they're selling buildable lots, they're selling condos, they're selling timeshares. It's going to be a phenomenal project when it's open. The whole ski beach is going to be retail, restaurants, ice skating, hotel, condo. It's going to be like a one-stop.
So if someone wanted to buy a little vacation, something there, condo, townhouse, whatever, what would be starting prices currently, and what would be starting prices at this Mayflower ski area?
At Mayflower, their condos are starting at about 1.2. They are going to basically be around the front of the ski beach. There's going to be 5 hotels that crescent the ski beach. So they're all going to be ski accessible. You will be able to take a lift over to Deer Valley. You can actually do that right now. You can take a lift from Mayflower over to Deer Valley because there's lots of people that still live on that side already. So they have completely sold out of phase 1. They are now marketing phase 2 and phase 3 of the buildable lots. Those start at about 2.8 for the little ones.
Okay, so almost $3 million just for a lot. So we're
In
figuring
the new side.
$7 to $10 million houses.
There's a minimum square footage that you have to build on. You know, every lot is a different size, so each one has a different square footage that is the minimum build. So yeah, anybody who wants it, I'm happy to share.
And I don't think I've ever heard, I can imagine what it is. If I had to explain what a ski beach is to someone that doesn't ski, is it just the congregating area of flat snow between the ski lifts and the housing and lodges?
Exactly.
Okay.
So once you can come down from all of the ski runs into like this general area where you kind of you float into the ski beach is what I call it. That's where you can you kick off your skis. You can meet with your friends and family, go grab a bite to eat, maybe a cold beer or a glass of wine.
Get
Kids
a
can go ice
tan,
skating. There's so much to do.
listen to the live music,
Exactly. Definitely après ski.
smell the
Definitely.
barbecue. Yeah, that
Yes,
part of it you do probably, right, Laurie? Even though you don't eat.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go to après ski all day long as I can just entry level on the ski beach.
So let's talk about beaches in general. So you got the winter covered. Spring, I think you have Park City Film Festival. Is that pretty much
We have the
behind you?
Sundance Film Festival,
Sundance,
in
okay.
the winter, yeah.
And that was
But
started by
yeah, in this,
Mr. Redford himself way back, right?
yeah,
And
it's yeah, we do.
and what do you do in the summer? I mean, are the
Oh,
lifts running for mountain biking? Are there lakes where people are water
um,
skiing and swimming? And
we
so let's
do.
talk about that.
We have this is a So we are a huge dog community here in Park City. They actually call it Bark City because people are constantly they're out on their mountain bikes, they're jogging, they're hiking. Everybody brings their dogs. It's such a wonderful camaraderie here. The ski lifts are running. So, even though there's no ski on the mountains, you can go over on the ski lift. You can enjoy all the terrain. It's so incredibly beautiful. We have so many reservoirs here. You can do boat rentals. Of course, you can bring your own boats, jet ski, sail. As a matter of fact, the water that's the Jordanelle Reservoir is right across the street from the Mayflower Ski Resort that's being built. So the water from that reservoir will aid in making snow because that resort will be sun facing. And then when the snow melts in the off season, it will go back into the reservoir. So we're being environmentally conscious here.
Okay, so you can swim in the reservoir and
Absolutely.
have a boat
Oh yeah,
and drink
barbecue
the
boat,
water
jet ski.
after
Yeah.
all this.
Yes. I mean, it's
Okay.
cold, but
Well, that was the other question. How cold is that water when you swim in it?
it's a little chilly. So, but
Because
you know
it
what? You're on
it's
the boat, you're in the
snow melt.
sun, you're on the boat, you're in the sun. You get a little warm, you jump in.
And you got the dogs and what else do you need?
Exactly.
So let's talk about a listing you have. You have a new listing at the I guess right at the bottom of the slopes Let's talk about it.
Exactly.
And while we're talking about it, let's run a little video that we can watch.
Oh, that would be awesome. So yes, this property just went on the market 1 week ago. It is literally one block from Park City Mountain Resort. You can just go up that little block right there, and it takes you to the parking lot at the ski resort. There's a lot of public transportation, which is all free here in Park City. You can see how beautiful the mountains are. That is just walking distance from, I'm not supposed to say walking distance, so sorry about that. It's a one block from, and then this is actually Old Town Park City, which is so historic. Actually, this property won the Park City Preservation Museum Award the last 3 years in a row. So the house has been restored on the inside. The facade is original from 1902. It is an original miner's home. It's super close to Main Street and everything that you want in Park City. The really, really cool thing about this particular property is not the proximity to the ski slopes, but from the street, the house looks deceptively small. But this house actually sleeps 8 to 10 people very comfortably. There is an entire lower level of this property that sleeps an additional 6 people with a full living room. There's a dining area, a full bedroom, remodeled bathroom, a laundry room. You just don't see it from the street. So I encourage everybody that I can to come inside this house and take a look, because having such a large property that sleeps so close to the slopes. And also something that's really special about this property, and is very, very rare in Park City, is it is on a double-sized lot on a corner. You can see from the video, there are, a lot of the houses are the sliver lots. So this being on a double-sized lot on the corner in Old Town Park City is incredibly rare.
And you're on a block where the bus comes and would pick you up with your skis and take you really only it's probably a 10-minute walk anyway at the very most, but it's a lot easier
Exactly.
when you're carrying skis and possibly boots to have the bus take you there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And
And plus,
it's free.
and it's free, yes. And the transit will take you to Deer Valley. It will take you to canyons. It will take you, within the Park City limits. So you could actually ski all 3 resorts just by using our free transit system from the property.
Okay. Is there one, I mean, I'm getting into the weeds ski wise, but is there one ski pass for all, both Park City and Deer Valley, or is it just, it's two separate ownerships of two separate ski passes?
There are 2 passes. There's the Epic Pass, and then there is the
Icon.
Icon. Sorry, Jim. I'm not a skier.
That's
You're gonna have
okay.
to cut this part out.
I know you can ski from Deer Valley back to Park City because I've done it.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
if
you can
everyone.
ski from Park City to canyons. There's
Right.
so you
Well,
can literally go from one resort to the other.
that's connected by a lift also.
Yes.
I guess maybe someday they'll figure out that they can connect Park City skiing into Deer Valley, or maybe it's already figured out. I just never personally did that.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
all right.
So
So you had an interesting situation. Was it a lost deposit that eventually got paid out? It was fraudulent paperwork.
oh yeah, yeah.
I remember something. It sounded interesting. Let's
Right.
touch on that.
Super, super interesting. Probably in all of my 28 years, the weirdest transaction I've ever had in my whole entire life. And it did include fraud. So basically, the story is I represented the seller, and it was basically a half-built luxury property here in the Park City area. They were offering seller financing, so it was basically a $1.5 million listing. My sellers were offering $750,000 in seller financing. So basically, they're looking for a buyer to come in with maybe a cash or a first mortgage. They would be the second mortgage out the door, super simple, right? So what happened? We did get a buyer. He wanted to take advantage of their seller financing. So we went into escrow. Everything was fantastic. We were one day away from closing. And we found out that the buyer had obtained a secret second mortgage that he didn't tell anybody about, which would have put my seller's financing in third position, which is, absolutely not. So we found out, this is the craziest part about it. We stopped the transaction because we're like, no, this is not what we agreed on. This is not in the contract. You don't get a second mortgage. My seller's financing is the second mortgage. He's in cahoots with a title company. The guy at the title company recorded the deed, recorded the first deed. Then we didn't know this at the time. So my sellers, the next day, they reach out to me. Thank God they were smart enough to reach out to me. They said, how come the title company is sending us all of these documents to sign the day after we closed? And I said, oh my God, there shouldn't be anything else to sign. I said, first of all, don't sign anything. Don't talk to anyone. Don't do anything. Send me everything so I can look at it. It was basically the title company had sent my sellers a whole list of documents to sign, waiving their right to record their seller financing deed of trust. And because basically they wanted to they recorded the first, they were going to record the second behind our backs, and then ask my seller to waive the right to record the deed. And everybody freaked out, of course. Who wouldn't freak out? So
And this was after the closing.
This was after the closing.
Okay.
And the scary part about this is that sellers sometimes don't know, and they sign everything that's put in front of them. Had my sellers signed all these papers that were sent to them behind my back, they would have sold this property to the buyer for $750,000.
Yeah.
And they would have taken the equal amount of a loss. Thankfully, they were smart enough to reach out.
Well, it would have ended up being a protracted lawsuit for them to right the ship, but probably, and fortunate for all the parties involved in the proposed fraud is that it didn't work out. Exactly. Because someone probably would have gone to jail if it did work out.
Well, you know what? It gets even better if I can make it any better. Of course, my brokerage's legal department gets involved. We dissect everything, send in all my documents. The buyer basically knows that he's been caught, and the guy at the title company, who is also an attorney, has been caught. And the buyer, we made the buyer sell the property back to my clients. And he also had to pay my commission.
Oh,
so
nice.
And that one stung a little. It was about 40 grand.
That's a good learning experience.
It was a very
It's always
good
better
experience.
to do it right the first time, and don't scheme.
So there's currently an investigation against the guy at the title company. His state, he is a state bar registered attorney, and his license is currently under investigation for this. And who knows how many people he did this to before.
Right.
We just ended up being smart enough to catch the guy.
Well, that's a good point.
And my sellers were made whole again.
There was an article published in Inman News in the last few weeks about a fraudulent transfer of money email accounts, brokerage accounts, could even be insiders at a brokerage that pass off information to a third party who then do what they do with emails and, send the money to this account.
Yeah,
And your seller did something very rare these days. They picked up the phone and
which is,
called you.
yeah, they're like, why am I getting this? Explain this to me because we're supposed to be
We
done.
rely on texts and emails so much that that's why these people get away with it. I wouldn't say half the time,
Yes.
but even 1 out of 10, the odds are they're going to have a nice payday for sending out an email with a link to a bank account. And as soon as it hits that bank account, they're moving it all over the place. So that's what this Inman article said. The money was eventually frozen, but they haven't received all of it back yet, or they had received a good portion of it and they were still working on getting the rest of it. But it just gets harder and harder to trace it as time goes on. So even if you did take somebody to the court, sometimes you don't even know who you're taking to court.
And the money's so far gone that a lot of time you can't even get it back. So, this is an example of agents have to really, really, really pay attention and look for those red flags in their transactions. This guy was a red flag for me with my sellers. We kept a really close eye on him. He had his own agent. He was a little sus. I'm not gonna
He's an
lie.
agent himself, and he had an agent, correct?
Yes, so this is the thing. He is a commercial real estate agent. The buyer was a commercial real estate agent. And since he had his own representation, he was not acting in the capacity of a real estate agent. So unfortunately, there was no disciplinary action, but there was a huge lesson learned here that people have to pay attention
It's incredible
and
to
they have
me
to
that there was
communicate.
no disciplinary action
It made me sick to
because
my stomach, I'll be
because
honest with
if
you.
he's licensed, and I don't care if he's working with another agent and that's the excuse that, oh, I
You
did
know,
did he say, oh, I didn't know? Was that ever?
He didn't dare. He didn't dare because we came after him with a vengeance. I'm telling you, we showed him no mercy, which is why I literally made him. I'm like, you did this and you got caught. And my seller isn't paying my commission. You're paying my commission because you know what? Lesson learned. Don't try and scam people. But the funniest thing about it's not
So did you
funny, but
actually sue him, or it was just a demand and he paid?
it was a demand from the my brokerage basically because I had it, I did my job as the listing agent and we were prepared to take legal action
And
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 he knew
your
that,
and
which is why
your
he decided
client
to make it right.
and your client, the seller, had paid your commission. So it's almost like they're
Right.
reimbursing the seller.
Exactly. So my sellers thankfully were made whole. Um, I'm very thankful for that because they're such great people and they didn't
And you
deserve this to
resold the
happen to
property,
them.
hopefully.
As a matter of fact, on the 8th, which is a week from tomorrow, they're giving me the listing again.
Okay,
So they're letting me put it back on the
so not
market.
yet. Well, let's talk
Not
about
yet.
that property. Maybe there's someone out there watching right now that would be interested.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
let's
it's
describe it.
yeah. I can't release the address yet, but it's basically it's on 5 acres of pure, beautiful land in Woodland, Utah. Lots of wildlife. The views are absolutely incredible, views that I've never seen before, because the property is about 3/4 of the way up on the mountaintop. It is a log cabin style. It's halfway finished, which is why they put it on the market. They, had family things and they wanted to move out of state, so they thought, let's let somebody else finish this project. But at this time, moving forward, they are actually working on completing the property right now. And it's going to be a 4 bedroom, a 3 bath, a 3 level, amazing cabin on the mountain. And, I discovered so many things about this property while I was there. They had their bulldozers because they bought the raw land and then they built the house. But when they were taking out all the dirt and everything, they uncovered a lot of natural stone across the mountain that when they saw it, they just left it there. We're like, we're gonna leave this. We don't know if it's like pieces, we don't know if it's full slabs, but it's there. It is beautiful. So, and you can also build an ADU or, a little mother-in-law suite on this property. There's 5 acres, possibilities are endless.
And the price?
The price can be about 165.
Okay. And my internet was a little shaky when you were talking about the owner financing, but will they offer owner financing again?
Surprisingly, they are still, they do still have faith in people. They are offering seller financing. It would be about $750,000 worth of seller financing. We're about 4.5% for 4 years, which would be the terms. So somebody would have to come in with, about 850, 900 as a down. But yeah, we're ready to wheel and deal.
Oh, very nice. So going back to the property in Park City, and we didn't mention the price of that one. What was the
Yes.
price? What is the price?
The price on the Park City property, because it sleeps 8 to 10 people, it would make an incredible Airbnb. It's 1 block to Park City Mountain Slopes. The price on that one is 3.659.
Okay. And a week during the ski season would, what's the value?
30,000 in rent. Yeah, I have a pro
25,
forma if
30,000
anybody wants it. I'm happy to share
for 1 week.
for 1 month.
Oh, for 1 month. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
25 to 30,000
So about
in
$1,000 a
on-season.
day.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, split that between 10 people. I mean, come on.
Right. Not too bad. So you think Airbnb is not going to be a problem there in the future? I mean, some cities and towns change ordinances and require
We do
minimum.
have we do have ordinances for short-term rentals. This property is approved for short-term rental. It's a historic property, so it has a lot of grandfather clauses into it. But yeah, it would make a great rental. I encourage anybody who's interested in a rental property, a lucrative investment property, 1 block from the slopes in Park City. Yeah, get in touch.
Or someone that has a lot of money and a lot of friends.
A lot of money. I love people that have a lot of money, and I love people that have friends that have a lot of money.
It's a great location.
Bring it on,
So
bring it.
is that on a street where there's restaurants? They're all within a short walk?
So yes, there are. So you're a short walk to public transportation, banking, shopping, restaurants, galleries, bars, all within a 10 to 15-minute walk max.
Right. All right. We usually on the podcast talk a little bit about EXP. You've been in the business for more years than EXP has existed. So like me, we've been around. So let's roll
Yes.
back time and talk about your career a little bit and what brought you to EXP. And if you like EXP, because I'm never make assumptions, tell us what you like about EXP.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I started my real estate career in 1998. I got hired as a secretary at front desk secretary at a title company. So I had no idea what escrow even was back then, which I look back and it just blows my mind. So I worked at escrow company for several years. I went through the ranks and I learned enough. I became an assistant and then an assistant escrow officer and then a full-fledged escrow officer. I did that for 9 years. My specialty was 1031 exchange, all the weird stuff that none of the other people wanted to do. Even if I didn't know how to do it, somebody approached me and say, will you do this? I'm like, yeah. And then I would learn how to do it. So I think that works to my
let me just
advantage.
pause you for one moment. because not everyone who watches the podcast will know what a 1031 exchange is.
Oh, okay. Yep. So that's when you sell, for example, you sell an investment property, and instead of receiving and actually touching the money from the proceeds of that sale, you park that money with an intermediary, like a third party 1031 exchange company. That way you're tax deferred. So you can have, you're ultimately going to have a timeline to choose another investment property to purchase. And then the third party company takes your money and they put it into that purchase for you. That way you never touch the money. You're tax deferred. You've been able to purchase another investment, and then you can just roll that into subsequent properties. Of course, if in someday in the future, if you take that investment property proceeds and you put it into a non-like property, such as this primary residence, you would at then time, assume
Or
the
a bank
tax
account or stocks
exactly.
and bonds, and then you
Yeah,
pay the
exactly.
tax. So it's
Exactly. So it's you try not to touch the
tax
money.
delayed, because
Tax
eventually
delayed,
the
exactly.
tax man gets paid eventually,
Yeah.
unless you've figured
So
something out that no
so
one else
yeah,
has. Cool.
1031s are surprisingly easy. Surprisingly easy. So if anyone's doing an investment property to an investment property, and you can fit into that timeline of a window that they give you to identify a property and then subsequently close on the property, it's such a great idea. I mean, I love the concept.
And
Yeah.
let's go one further, because the EXP, you and I are part of this company that has licenses in all 50 states, and it's one brokerage, and
Mhm.
there's so many cool things about it. I just capped this month or whatever, and then I get something in my email. You just got shares of stock in the company, and I recruited someone, and they had their first sale. I got shares of stock. This is all in the same hour. So, it's a
Yes.
surprise. There's money dropping in, basically.
Yeah. You know what?
This
You know what is, oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, this property that you have at Park City could be a great income producing property. Somebody anywhere in the country could sell a property. Now, could they sell a property anywhere in the world if they're a US citizen? Probably. But in the
Yeah.
country, it doesn't have to be in the same state.
No, no, not at
Sell
all.
it, sell a property
Know,
in Massachusetts. You want to ski.
yeah,
Maybe with a 1031, I'm just wondering, would you ever be able to use that property yourself? And would that mess up the
as a
status of it?
residence.
You know, a
I am
couple of
not
weeks
gonna,
a year.
yeah, I'm not gonna quote the laws right now. I'm going to encourage people to do their own research with regard to that. I really try not to advise people. I can do a 1031 exchange all day long when it's property to property. I don't want to misquote or
Yeah.
misstate
No,
anything that might
I
be
think
crucial
you
to
can.
speaking to that.
I think you can if it's like less than 6 months out of the year or something like that. But
It's
you're
something
right.
like that. I think you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Speak to your tax advisor. or
exactly. I
or 10
always
or your 1031 exchange expert.
intermediary, your company.
Intermediary.
Yeah. The 1031 company is a wealth of information. So, and there's so many out there that people can choose from. So, make sure you do your research when you're choosing a 1031 exchange company. I've never worked with a bad one. I think they're fantastic. And the funny thing that you said that about the EXP stock options is that when I left escrow in Arizona and I moved to Laguna Beach, California, and I got my license there to sell luxury property. I did that for 8 years. The brokerage that I was with did not offer anything like that, nothing even close, nothing compared to the perks and the coaching and the training we get with EXP.
And we're
And
not going to
even
mention that it
subsequently,
was Keller Williams, right?
do you want me to name names?
Yeah,
Laguna
sure.
Beach. In Laguna Beach, I was with First Team Estates, which was also Christie's International Real
Okay.
Estate. Yeah, I was with them for 8 years in Laguna Beach. And then when my husband and I moved to Park City 5 years ago, I did initially join Keller Williams. I felt like I had a personal loyalty to Keller Williams because the husband and wife that owned all of the Keller Williams here in Park City, they were also the company in Arizona who fed me all of my escrows when I was brand new. And they helped me grow, they helped me learn. And then, after several years with Keller Williams here, I decided it just wasn't a good fit for me. I wanted to grow my business here, and I just wasn't given the tools that I needed. So
Yeah.
I
So
had a I
what
had an EXP.
yeah, what do you like about EXP? Anything?
Well, everything about it. I mean, what I love is that I was just showing my husband my for sale signs the other day, and I have one for under $1 million, and I have a for sale sign for over $1 million. So, as a member of the luxury department, we have thousands and thousands of marketing pieces at our disposal. I love the luxury department. I love EXP as a company. I am in a group of 53 independent agents. People always think we're a team. We're not a team. We work independently, but we collaborate because collaboration versus competition is always the best way to go. We have daily accountability calls. We have trainings, coachings, and we want to be able to lift each other up, and so we can all be successful instead of competing and holding secrets against one another. We always share, what's working and what is not working, actually. Because we're all in the family.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a company that I guess if you had to flip it around, it's like this isn't our dream. It's what is your dream? Let us help you reach it.
Exactly.
And let us
Exactly.
do as little as possible to get in your way.
Exactly. I've brought on agents with EXP, and either they're brand new agents that are just licensed or experienced agents. I had one join me at EXP, and she immediately went off and joined this amazing team because that is what worked for her. And she is flourishing, and I applaud her every single day. And also my brand new agent right out of the box. I'm teaching her how to build a Facebook business page. I'm teaching her how to Zoom, so sometimes you get them, they're here, sometimes you get them here, but you get to build them up from scratch, which is, you get to teach them how to do it right from the beginning, which I love that.
And you get paid for it too.
And I get paid for it.
Nice. Nice.
Not from the agent's commission, but from EXP. Yeah.
Or, well, if it's a new agent and you're their mentor, it actually is coming from you.
Correct. Yeah.
But
yeah. She's in a great mentor program. She's got a mentor, they're like peanut butter and jelly. They're awesome. And yeah, she's going to flourish as well. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting to the end of the show. Anything else you want to talk about at all? Do you want to talk about the new rules on not offering buyer brokerage compensation and MLS and not getting paid, not having the commission come to you and split the okay, let's talk.
Right. So my take is everybody's panicking about this, and there's no reason to panic. Only two simple things are changing, and I do my best to get this information out to people. I do think, and I don't know if I should say this or not, should say this, but this is going to weed out the agents who have become real estate agents who think that this is easy money, who think that we open doors and collect a commission. This will weed out the people who do this part-time and the people who do this for the hobby. They get into it thinking that it's easy. This business is difficult and this business is expensive.
Okay, so explain to everyone why you believe that's true. And I'll give you my opinion if it varies from your opinion on it, because it has been said before, but not articulated why.
Well, directly because of the changes that are being made right now because of the NAR settlement. So, sellers have always had the option of paying the buyer side commission. It's always been there. It's just that the agents from long, long ago started telling their sellers that this is the way it is. Okay, so sellers just absorb that as this is the norm, this is what I have to do, and this is the way it is, and I don't get a say in it. But that was never ever true. So, now that it's being brought to the forefront, I try and educate as many people as I can that there's no reason to panic. It's always been like this. The sellers always had an option. Our commissions have always been negotiable from day one. So the changes are coming out in the open. However, it's all kind of always been like this. So,
So what you're basically saying
and with,
is these lawsuits were possibly frivolous, and that this isn't
I don't,
changing much of anything. It's just forcing us to have the conversation that we probably should have been having, but
it
it was
it's forcing us to have the conversations that we should have been having this whole time. The whole time we should have been having these conversations with our sellers and our buyers. We should have been, for the last 100 years or however much, we should have been talking to our buyers and saying, hey, look, there is a chance you're going to have to pay my fee. My fee is negotiable, but we haven't been doing that. We've been putting it on the sellers as the norm instead of the agents actually having those important conversations, those difficult conversations about money. That the seller, you don't have to pay the whole thing. Buyer, you might have to pay some, you know. The experienced agents, the knowledgeable, the ones who are in this for the long haul, this is their career, it's in their blood. They've been having these conversations with their clients all along. So, it's not scary.
Do you
If
predict
you want to see
anything?
some property, just
You predict that
hard.
anything's really going to change other than the conversation and new paperwork? See, I think it's going to pretty much stay the same, because most buyers are not going to have the money to pay their broker separately, and
I
this is the perfect market to have this all happen in, because it's not a roaring seller's market with the higher interest rates. So the
agree.
sellers, as soon as this happens, are realizing, there's properties on the market that have been on the market for 100 days, 200 days, and that's before these changes, so-called changes.
Right.
uh I think it's
So,
just going to be business as usual with new conversations and new paperwork.
there are definitely going to be new conversations, and the conversations are going to be that the buyer's agent is actually going to have to reach out and have a conversation with the seller's agent, the listing agent, about this exact thing that has come to the forefront. As a matter of fact, I had a listing appointment last week with another a husband and wife seller in downtown Park City, and I went over all of this with him. I'm like, look, it's always been this way. This is, there are a couple of things that are changing, that, there's other things, there's additional papers to sign, basically. And he even asked me, he said, so would a reasonable concession to the buyer agent would be, X amount of commission? And I said, X%. And I said, that would be very generous of you, very generous of you. You've never had to do it. You don't have to do it, but you are willing to do it, which is beautiful. And that's what makes our industry go around, is that, hopefully people are understanding more about how it works, how we get compensated. This, our job is not easy. We just want to make it so it works for everybody.
So
I
you
think
think
that's the most important thing
at
of
the end
all.
of the day, this was beneficial for agents like you and me?
I do. And I also think it's going to open up the lenders' criteria in allowing buyers to, possibly finance their commission if it turns out that the buyer does have to contribute. Are the lenders going to allow this to be financed in the loan? I think it's just going to open up a lot of doors and change our industry for the better. We have clear, concise, communication here. We are, I think we're moving forward. I really do.
And
And
EXP
I'm happy. I'm excited.
seems to be leading the way a bit with with this entire conversation and the paperwork
Yes.
regarding it.
So
So
regarding that, I
yeah,
actually had a conversation back and forth with a non-EXP agent this morning, just this morning, that she wrote a Facebook post that EXP is no longer cooperating with other brokerages. And I said, you are getting,
that's what she took away
your,
from the Inman article
that is
or
what she
whatever
took
she
away.
read.
And so this is what she's putting out there. And I said, you're getting your words mixed up. Not cooperating with a brokerage means nothing is getting paid, okay? But not making commissions payable to another brokerage is completely different, which is what we are going to start doing. And that means that on the supplement statement moving forward, instead of the listing brokerage capturing all of the commission and then making the buyer agent portion payable to that brokerage, it's changing now. EXP is changing this. We are now only the EXP portion of the commission is being payable to EXP. Now, the buyer agent commission will be shown on the settlement statement as a debit from the seller to the buyer agent commission, to the buyer agent brokerage, or a debit from the buyer directly to the buyer agent brokerage. It's still getting paid. We are cooperating with other brokerages. It's just the way the checks get cut are going to change. That's it. Pure and simple.
And if she thought, this agent, if she thought that her company was going to do it any differently, she would be wrong. We're all going to be doing
We are the leaders.
We are going to be doing it the same way because no one wants to be a target for the next lawsuit. And we already know there will be more and more lawsuits until everybody gets it right.
Yeah. And, you know, it's our job to educate people on, you know, the moving forward, and this is the best way to go, you know.
Okay. Well,
I can't believe
yes,
I get to do this for a living.
well, that's a great way
So
to
lucky.
wrap the show. Thank you, Laurie. We really appreciate you coming on the show. You want to just throw your phone number and email out there? Anything? If someone wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
I would love to. Yeah. Yeah, please reach out anytime. My name is Laurie Allen-Macaluso. I'm in Park City, Utah. I do also service the greater Salt Lake City area. There's just a mountain between us. It's totally drivable. I have lots of clients over in Salt Lake. My cell number is 435-800-9494. I can be reached by email at Laurie, Laurie, at bespokeutahproperties.com.
Speaking of the Salt Lake, did more water flow into it this year?
A little bit.
Yeah. No one
Not
ever
enough to talk about.
goes to Salt Lake and hangs out there at the beach or anything, right?
You know, Salt Flats is an amazing attraction, as a matter of fact. Salt Flats, Salt Lake Flats, Salt
Okay.
Flats.
I'll have to check it out. Okay.
But
Thanks.
yeah, buy my property in Park City.
Thank you, Laurie Allen-Macaluso. Thank you, all our diehard Exponential Files watchers, and like us everywhere. And we'll see you next week. This is James Lowenstern, just reading it, but it's Jim Lowenstern, saying bye-bye for now.